Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon X and Y narrated Wi-Fi battle video. Today's battle is a Monotype battle that I had on my stream the other day against an opponent by the name of KJLaw. And if you don't know what a Monotype battle is, let me just kind of explain it really quickly. Basically, each person selects a type that all of their Pokemon on their team have to have in common with one another. So I decided to choose Grass, and I brought along a Cacturne, a Rotom Lawnmower form, a Ludicolo, a Tangrowth, Torterra, and a Breloom, whereas my opponent decided to choose Psychic as his Monotype with a Alakazam, Sigilyph, Musharna, Hypno, Girafarig, and a Victini. So let's just jump into things right now and see how they go. So to start things off, I'm going to lead off with my Cacturne as my opponent decides to lead off with his Victini. Now, me being a Cacturne, I think, well, I have a huge advantage right now. I have a super effective Sucker Punch. So I just go for that first turn, fully expecting to take out Victini. Except Victini, with its amazing base stats, is actually able to take this a lot better than I thought and survive the hit and take me out with a U-turn in the process. And that was actually max damage from what I could tell after calculating that later. Victini is just that bulky, apparently. That took me by surprise, especially because now I lost the one thing on my team that had a type advantage over his. But he brings in Hypno as he switches out and goes for the Ice Punch, which surprised the heck out of me. Thankfully, though, I thought immediately Torterra is able to take that reasonably well just because of its monster defense stat. And I'm actually able to set up my Stealth Rock here, which is very crucial because now that I actually took Victini down to a low range of health, the Stealth Rocks will now kill it upon entry, which is huge for me because Victini had a huge type advantage over my team, being a Fire type and me obviously running the Grass team. But I decided to switch on to Tangrowth right now, knowing it is probably the best thing on my team to take a physical hit, even if it is super effective. And as you saw right there, I still took it pretty well from the Hypno. And I'm just going to go for a knockoff on the switch because it's the best move in the game. And I'm actually able to knock off the Flame Orb on the Sigilyph, which is huge because now I don't have to be worried about it potentially burning things on my team. But I go into Breloom here knowing that they typically don't pack Air Slash, and I actually call this correctly because he doesn't go for it here. He probably only has stored power as an attacking move, meaning that I am not afraid of this even remotely until he's able to set up, and I don't give him the chance to. I go for 2 Rock Tombs and I'm easily going to be able to take him out. Rock Tomb, if you guys have not used on a Breloom before, is absolutely amazing. Not only does it get a Technician boost, but it also makes things slower, meaning you could potentially take things out a heck of a lot easier on the following turn if something tries to switch in and take advantage of it being a pretty slow Pokemon. But here he brings his Alakazam, and I really don't know what to do in this situation because I don't know what kind of set Alakazam is running. It might have Signal Beam, and if that's true, I don't really know what I'm going to do. But he reveals Psyshock right here, and because of that, I know that this is probably a Alakazam that is generally meant for OU because you always run Psyshock in OU for things like Blissey and stuff like that. But that actually means that I am extremely safe in switching into my Tangrowth right here because of its really great defense stat. Now, even if he did switch up moves there and go for a special attack, I am actually Assault Vest with this Tangrowth, so I can take hits for days and always regenerate the health back when I switch out because of its Regenerator ability. So again, I just go for knockoff, best move in the game, and I'm able to take out the leftovers on this Musharna and then switch out on the following turn. I can't really beat Musharna in a one-on-one situation with Tangrowth, but I do have the Leech Seed on my Torterra, which could help me wear this thing down over time. So I go into it right now and decide to go for it right now. Thankfully it hits, and he's just going to Moonlight right here, which is great for me because I don't take any damage on this turn. And because Musharna has such a fantastic HP stat, I am actually going to recover a considerable amount of HP on this turn, which is really great for me because initially I thought this Torterra was going to be done after it got hit with an Ice Punch from the Hypno, but thankfully I'm actually finding some use out of it right now, which is, more than I was honestly expecting. So I'm in here, and I'm pretty much just in here at this point to take it down to as low a range of health as it possibly can, and then try and go into maybe Breloom or something else after this Torterra goes down to take out the Musharna if it's at a low range of health. So I'm just going to go for Earthquakes. I really don't have another option here. But I know after a while, if he does keep trying to set up, I might as well potentially win out in the end because he does only have a limited amount of Moonlights, having a max of 8, or PP of only 8. So I don't expect to wear it down all the way, but at this point, I'm basically up to full health after the Leech Seed. So I'm in a pretty good situation to pretty much live any hit this Musharna wants to go for. So I just keep on firing off Earthquakes. I have the speed advantage, obviously, because Musharna's a pretty slow Pokemon. And as you see, even at +2 right here, because I recovered all that HP, I'm actually able to survive this Psychic very well, and I do have a pretty good amount of special defense investment on this Torterra. But because of the Leech Seed damage now and the Earthquakes from before, I'm actually able to bring this Musharna down into a range of health where I will be able to actually KO it with Earthquake on this turn, which is absolutely huge for me, because not only do I have a more healthy Torterra than I had before, but also I now took down a Pokemon that was a potential huge threat because of its setup capabilities. But again, I'm just going to switch right out into my Tangrowth to take whatever hit he wants to go for. As you can see, even though this Hypno is offensively invested, I'm able to take it very well. It's only doing about 50 points of damage, but again, I'm just going to go for knockoff. What else is there to do in this situation? And I'm actually going to be able to take out this Hypno with 2 knockoffs, despite the fact that this Tangrowth isn't even remotely physically attacked, or invested into physical attack, excuse me. But that was a very interesting Hypno. If you didn't see that there, he was actually running an Assault Vest, but I'll get to more on that later. But here he brings in his Alakazam, and from this range, I know I can't live anything he wants to go for. So I decided to go into my Torterra at this point and just sacrifice it. Torterra did a fantastic job, but I need the Regenerator to be active on my Tangrowth so that I can bring it in later and potentially take out this Alakazam, as you know, I'll be at a much greater range of health when I bring it back in, which is pretty much exactly what I'll do in a moment. However, I do have this Ludicolo, and I know I can live any hit from this thing, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to try to do as much damage as possible, because I do not know if knockoff will actually take out the Alakazam from the range it's at. I can't knock off its item because it's a Mega Stone, so it's probably not going to do as much damage as it's been doing to his other Pokemon. But now, at this point, I definitely feel comfortable to bring it in. He goes for the Dazzling Gleam, and like I said before, I'm Assault Vest, so I'm just going to go for the knockoff. I take the Dazzling Gleam really well, and it was also important to note, I'm going to just point this out, that if I went for Rain Dance with my Ludicolo before, it probably would have been game over, because he would have just switched out his Alakazam, swished back in, traced my Swift Swim, and then potentially swept my team with that. So that would have been really bad. I had to make sure I didn't do that, and I made sure to make note of that in the chat, or in the stream as I was talking about it. But he brings in Girafarig right here, and honestly, this was the one thing I was most worried about on his team because of the Sap Sipper ability if he had it. But thankfully, you know, I can bring in Rotom here as Death Fodder, and at this point, I see that he's Life Orbed, so I'm pretty safe in just bringing my Tangrowth back in. He's going to go for Psychic, but again, Assault Vest Tangrowth is just too good. I'm going to take that extremely easily. He's going to lose a little bit more HP from his Life Orb, and then I'm just going to KO him with Knockoff to give me the victory in the battle. So thank you, KJLaw, for that match. That was a fantastic match. I love Monotype battles. By the way, Victini is obviously going to go down here to Stealth Rock. I kind of skipped ahead of myself, but I love Monotype battles, and I would love to have more and more of them if possible. So I plan on doing more of these on my stream, and I hope you guys like them as well, because it kind of breathes some new light into Pokemon if you kind of put some weird rules to things and don't just see the standard tiers and stuff like that that you normally do. But anyways, like I was saying before, that Hypno set was very interesting, and KJLaw was nice enough to actually share this with me, so I'm just going to switch it over here to a slide right now just to show you what it was, because I've never honestly saw an Assault Vest Hypno before, but I can imagine the immense bulk you could get out of that just because of how ridiculous its special defense stat is naturally, and then stacking an Assault Vest on top of that, it will be able to take special hits for days without worry. So this is what he has. He has a Hypno with an Adamant Nature using the Insomnia ability, and then for the EVs, he decided to max HP with 252 into that, and max physical attack with 252 into that, and put the remainder 4 EVs into his special defense. And then he is running Psycho Cut, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, and Power Up Punch / Low Sweep as his last option, which is actually really cool because he can slowly boost his attack if he gets the opportunity to, and have a very, very, very easy time setting up against special attackers because of the Assault Vest in combination with his massive special defense. So I figured I would share that with you. Also, if you would like to check out more of KJLaw, I posted his channel in the description, so feel free to check that out after this battle is over. But anyways, everybody, thank you all for watching, and as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.